Hi guys, I am finally getting around to doing this weight loss surgery tag. And I have actually enjoyed listening to all the really great responses out there and other people's, reasons for weight loss surgery. It's really been fun. And so the thing is that my reasons for wanting to have weight loss surgery are actually no different than anyone else's reasons. They're pretty much exactly the same as everything that everyone else has already said. And so, because of that, what I'm going to do is I am going to answer this tag literally. And oh, I forgot to say who tagged me. I was tagged by Toya's Shrinking and Shrinking Jazzy. Those are the only two people that I know of that tagged me. So I'm going to answer this literally. Why have I chosen to have weight loss surgery versus losing weight some other way? Why weight loss surgery versus something else? And so the reasons that I'm going to give you are going to kind of be the same reasons and thought process that I went through when I decided for myself to have weight loss surgery. Why did I choose this? I actually don't really know anyone at all who has had weight loss surgery. So, and I don't have any friends that have suddenly lost like 100 pounds or anything like that. So, really, no one I know has had weight loss surgery, except for one person that is not really a close friend of mine. Someone that I used to work with, and I was never close to this person. We were friends on Facebook, and that was it. And when I left that company, I later found out that she had had gastric bypass. Okay? And so this was like 7 years ago. And so when I decided to have weight loss surgery, since we were friends on Facebook, I decided to reach out to her to ask her if it, because I wasn't even sure if it was true, if I was remembering correctly. I reached out to her to ask her a few questions about her experience and her doctor and where she had it done and if she would do it again. And that is the only person that I know who has had anything done. So I really had no experience whatsoever with weight loss surgery. And I had considered it once. When I reached my highest weight in 2009, I had gotten up to 320 pounds. I had considered weight loss surgery at that time. But at that time, the only thing I knew about was the lap band and gastric bypass. And even though I was 320 pounds and only 5'3" or 5'4", whatever, I think I didn't think that I even qualified for gastric bypass. And this was before 600-pound life. I still think that I always thought that, only people who weighed a whole lot more than I did got gastric bypass. And I researched the lap band, and it just was not something that I wanted to do at that time. And so, through the years, I have been successful on some diets. I have lost weight many times, and each time I have regained the weight. The only successful weight loss I've ever had is the fact that I never regained, even though I've gained and lost and gained and lost, I have never gone back up to my highest ever weight of 320 pounds. So I have maintained that. And I will talk about that in a few minutes as to why I think that I've maintained that. So why weight loss surgery then? So this last time that I had lost weight and regained it due to an injury, I was just tired of feeling like I'm fighting against my body. It's as if my body wants to stay at this weight, and no matter what I do, it is going to constantly be pounding me to regain this weight. It's going to do everything it can to get back up to this weight. And so I kept thinking, I wish there was something that I could do that would force my body to work with me instead of against me. And that is when the idea of weight loss surgery occurred to me again. I was like, oh yeah, I think there is something that would help my body work with me instead of against me. And so that is when I started looking into weight loss surgery. And that is my number one reason, the number one reason that I'm going to talk about. I'm not sure that these are in any particular order. Um, Maybe just the order that I thought of them or considered them or whatever. So the first thing that I wanted was a way to help my body work with me. I felt that I was almost there. Like I almost put everything in place that I need to be able to lose weight and maintain it. And I think I just needed one more thing, you know, one thing that if I had that thing, that would be the additional thing that was going to help me keep my weight off. And I am sure now that that is weight loss surgery. So that's the number one reason why I'm having the weight loss surgery. Number two, which is kind of tied into number one a little bit. Um, Everyone knows someone or they themselves have maybe lost weight and regained it again with, traditional diet and exercise. The studies out there show that only 3 to 5% of people manage to keep off their weight with traditional diet and exercise. So that means 95 to 97% of people will regain their weight after losing weight with diet and exercise. And weight loss surgery, even though, people are like, oh, I know this person and that person that regained weight after weight loss surgery, the percentages are much lower or higher. Higher chance that you're going to keep your weight off. And I actually went and I looked at clinical studies. There are more studies out there than I think people know of, but the thing is that the studies are all very small. So there are a lot of small studies where maybe they only looked at 20 people or 30 people or 10 people. And looked at the percentage of weight gain. And I was looking at those to start off with when I was looking at how effective the vertical sleeve gastrectomy was compared to the gastric bypass. I qualify for the gastric bypass because I have a really high BMI, but I still didn't want the gastric bypass. So I wanted to make sure that this vertical sleeve gastrectomy thing that I had never heard of, I wanted to make sure that that was just as effective. And so I was looking at these studies to see what the percentage of people who are successful and then what percentage of these people keep off their weight. And I think the worst study that I saw was 50%. And even then, it was 50% regained some weight. It wasn't that 50% of the people regained all of their weight. So I think that was the worst study. I mean, some studies showed that only 30% of the people regained weight, and some of them it was 20% of the people regained their weight. So 20 to 50% of people regain their weight after bariatric surgery versus 95 to 97% of people regain their weight after traditional diet. I like statistics and I'm a scientist. And when I saw that, I was sold. I'm like, oh, sign me up. Weight loss surgery, here I come, because those chances are better than the other chances. Reason number 3. So once again, in my research, I talked about how I didn't like the fact that I felt like my body was working against me. Starving yourself and eating fewer calories, all of those are things that decrease your metabolism. And especially after being someone who's been overweight my entire life, if I was able to even get down to, let's say, 150 pounds, the amount of calories that I would have to eat and the amount of exercise that I would have to do in order to maintain that weight would be insane, especially compared to someone who has always been 150 pounds their entire life. Well, the studies with weight loss surgery are showing that, it's like, I know, of course, you still have to work hard and you have to eat right, but weight loss surgery does not affect your metabolism the same way that traditionally losing weight with diet and exercise affects your metabolism. Weight loss surgery is more favorable. So anything that's favorable, that's good. Also, there are all these other things that they don't exactly know all the answers to, but all these other reasons why weight loss surgery seems to have this advantage over traditional diet and exercise. There seems to be a change in your gut flora, the flora, that your gut bacteria, that seems to want to help you lose weight and keep it off. Everyone knows that, two of the ways that weight loss surgery works is either restrictive, it's either just restrictive or restrictive and malabsorptive. So, keep feeling like something is hitting me. So the lap band and the vertical sleeve gastrectomy are restrictive surgeries, restrictive procedures. So they restrict the amount of food that you eat, and so of course you're going to lose some weight. The gastric bypass restricts the amount of food that you can eat at one time, but then it also is malabsorptive, because even the food that you do eat, it doesn't absorb all of the calories and nutrients from that food, so that decreases your calories even more. Well, there are these studies that are showing that there are other things in play besides the restriction and the malabsorption, that, there's this change in your gut flora. There's the study that they have done in mice, and I read this a while ago, so I don't remember all the exact details, but I know basically they had obese mice. They performed a vertical sleeve gastrectomy on the mice, and then they took the gut bacteria from the mice and implanted it in other obese mice, and those mice lost weight. I mean, wow, that's incredible, I think. And there are other metabolic changes that they just really don't understand yet. What is going on? But those are good things. Anything that causes changes in my body, that maybe makes my body want to act more like people who've never had a weight problem. I think that maybe we all know, skinny people who can eat whatever they want and they still don't gain weight. If surgery makes my body act a little bit more like these, naturally thin people, then I'm all for it. And so that's something else that you won't get from traditional diet and exercise. So, as convoluted as that was, that is another great reason for me. So I think that was number 3. Number 4 is the hunger hormone thing. One of my biggest issues is not portion size, but is the number of times that I eat and eating the wrong foods. Because I am always hungry. I'm hungry right now, as a matter of fact. I'm always hungry. And so over the years, I realized that one of the things that actually helps me keep my weight where it is now and not balloon back up to even, the 320 pounds, I've stayed far away from that weight now for years. I haven't been able to lose additional weight, but I have been able to stay far away from that 320 pounds. And part of that is actually from me cooking the majority of the food that I eat, and then also eating several times a day. Because what I discovered is that even if I eat like a full meal of, say, 600 calories, I'm still going to be hungry in 3 or 4 hours. And so I might as well eat a small meal of 250 calories so that then when I get hungry again in a few hours, then I can eat another 200 or 250 calorie meal. That helps me keep my calories low in general, throughout the day. But I'm still hungry. And what happens is that then usually I get tired of these little meals and then I start eating things that I shouldn't eat. And so I'm looking forward to, I guess just in case you don't know, when the part of your stomach that they remove during the vertical sleeve gastrectomy is the part of the stomach that is responsible for your hunger hormones. Now your body will soon regenerate the ability to produce these hunger hormones after a while. But in the beginning, for most people, the majority of people, they do not have hunger after surgery, and maybe for months and months and months after surgery because of the decrease or disappearance of these hunger hormones. So I am really looking forward to that because I deal with hunger all the time. I mean, part of the reason that I'm successful right now pre-surgery is because I'm just walking around hungry. I mean, that's how I'm losing weight because I'm eating less and I'm hungry. And instead of feeding that hunger, I'm just ignoring it. And that's the only reason why I'm losing some weight right now. But that's not something that you can do long term. And so that's part of the reason I think why I always end up regaining my weight is because I can't walk around, starving all the time for years and years. So that's why for me, having surgery, I want to be able to, and I want to be able to be satisfied with small portions. I'm actually already used to eating small portions, and I like eating small portions. But now I want to be satisfied eating small portions. And so that's actually one of the things that I'm looking forward to the most is, and it's probably one of those things where be careful what you ask for because, if I say, oh yeah, I want to be able to eat small portions and feel satisfied, but, do I want to have to only eat 2 tablespoons and be satisfied? I mean, I know that, it swings the other way after surgery where the portions are really small, but still, I'm, willing to take that. Okay, so I hope all of this is making sense. I feel like I'm talking fast, but I just don't want it to be like 30 minutes long. My final reason, number 5, is a very personal reason, and it's kind of, I'm not even sure that I'm going to be able to make you understand what I'm saying, but I'm just going to say it, okay, because it is the truth. So, about 10 years ago, I had to have a hysterectomy. I did not really have a choice. I had to have this hysterectomy. And I blame my body. It's my body's fault that I had to have this dangerous surgery. And, there's a risk of complications, and fortunately I didn't have any. But it was a life-altering surgery. It was a life-altering surgery because I had to have this surgery before I had the chance to have kids. And I wanted to have kids. And so now my life is forever altered because of this surgery that I didn't even want to have. And so now for some reason I feel as though having bariatric surgery is like payback. Because this is another surgery that is going to be life-altering and life-changing. But it's my choice. I'm choosing to have this surgery. No one is making me have this surgery. My body is not making me have this surgery. And so if I have some type of complication, I know that it's a major surgery. It might be a relatively minor procedure, relatively, but it's a major surgery. They're chopping out part of your stomach. That is not a small thing. But it's going to be my choice. And so I don't know. For some reason, because I already had this major surgery that I didn't want to have, and I made it through it, and even though I didn't want to have it, for some reason I just feel like, okay, I can handle this. This is a surgery that I want to have. And if something happens, if I have complications, it was my choice. And I think that I can live with those complications better because it was something that I chose to do. And now I'm going to have surgery, and the consequences after the surgery are actually going to be good consequences versus what happened after my previous surgery. So I don't know if that made any sense, but it makes sense to me. It actually was the last thing that I thought about, the last thing that helped me make my decision to have the surgery, because I just kept thinking, do I really need to have surgery? Do you really need to have surgery? Why don't you just try again with diet and exercise? Since it has worked for you before, why not try it again? And I admit, even occasionally, because I'm doing well on my pre-op diet, occasionally I do keep thinking, well, why don't you just keep going? Don't do the surgery. But then in the back of my mind, it's like, okay, there's this quote, what's the definition of, what is it, of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. The last time I lost weight, I thought for sure that was going to be the last time. But yet, I regained the weight. And the time before that, I lost weight, but then I regained it. And the time before that, I thought that had it made that, no, I'm not going to regain the weight. I regained it. And the time before that. And I can keep going because I have been trying to lose weight for a very long time, and I have been able to lose weight, and yet I keep regaining it. So even now, as I'm being successful once again, and I think, oh, why don't you just keep going and don't have the surgery? No. I've already did that. I'm not doing that again. And now I have all these other reasons for why I'm having the surgery. I'm going to have the surgery. And now I've just explained to you why. So if any of you out there have not yet done this tag, go ahead and do this tag. And if you haven't done it, throw in some reasons why you're choosing weight loss surgery to lose weight versus losing weight some other way. And I've gotten a new challenge box, so stay tuned in a few days for me to do my review on my second challenge box. Bye.